Hi everyone, I'm Gideon and I oversee customer satisfaction and marketing at DecodeChess. In this video, I would like to show you around the system and review the features and the hidden gems that it has to offer, and hopefully to enhance your own use of the system. I myself am an amateur chess player and a very big fan of the game. Prior to knowing about DecodeChess, I was playing lots of games online and using the standard post-game engine analysis to try and figure out what went wrong in my game. Needless to say, the frustration of being left with a cold move suggestion and an indication of a blunder or a mistake always left a bitter taste or an inability to learn from those mistakes. And DecodeChess really helps me, personally, with that, and I want to share with you exactly how. So let's start. First of all, a desktop screen is the preferred way to use DecodeChess at this point. We do not have an app yet, and even when we do, for a comprehensive and beneficial learning process, the desktop version will always be a superior choice. You can start by dragging the separator to adjust the size of the board, and this is the Decodes panel, which we will dive into shortly. But next to the board, you have the following buttons. Increase and decrease the arrow's intensity on the board, rotate the board and determine whose turn it is, set up the pieces, and toggle between Fen and Stockfish analysis modes. The menu allows us to choose between a few options through which we can decode positions. We are working on featuring a PGN editor, but until it's with us, in the meanwhile, if you simply close the pop-up menu and start moving pieces on the board, they will be recorded and will be saved as a game in your history folder. Naming a newly created game in this way is highly recommended, as you will then be able to locate it easily. Which brings us to the history folder. Here you can search for, edit, and delete games if necessary. You can also tag them by different subjects. Now let's look at the import function. Here you can drop a PGN file or a Fen, and once a PGN file has been uploaded, give the system a few seconds to populate the game's graph, the game statistics, and the recommended decodes. Use the graph and the recommended decodes to focus on 5 to 8 positions in the game. You can filter the recommended decodes by piece color to focus on your moves. Decode these positions in a row to save time. When a decode is complete, it will include a green ribbon to indicate that it has not been attended yet. And a yellow underline will follow all the completed decodes. Now that a decode is complete, let's refer to the different explanatory parts of the system. So first, let's collapse the other areas so we are able to focus on the important areas. The Summary tab gathers information from all the 6 tabs that are generated for each position. The explanation for the best line can stretch up to 7 plies ahead, so please don't settle with the first explanation. Traveling through the best line is of course beneficial, and many times, especially in master games, this best line is 100% synced with the actual course of the game. Each explanation line is expandable and includes annotated variations, so make sure to use it and follow the variations on the board. You do this with the arrows on your keyboard or with your mouse. Whenever you lost track of your place in the position, just click on this arrow or on the bullet point at the beginning of each variation. That will simply elapse the position back to where it was when you started the decode process. The idea problem solution, this is where we provide an instructional framework to guide you on how to find the best move. This is not generated for any position, and in some cases might even include more than one option. So all the options are always available under the Plans tab. Here again, follow the lines on the board to fully understand the ideas at hand, and do this either with your mouse or your keyboard. The Pay Attention to toggle gathers highlighted concepts from the Concepts tab. These concepts can include tactical ideas such as X-ray or control of a certain rank or file, and other factors that are affected by the distribution of pieces on the board in that specific position. Opponent Intentions includes short glances at what are the relevant threats in the position, and here specifically I would highly recommend making use of our Threats tab, but not just settling with this summary. Because the Threats tab, here you get a complete, intuitive explanation for each threat. And most importantly, you see what is the threat's status once the recommended move is played. And I believe this is a really awesome feature that changes the way players can analyze their threats. Let's move on to the Good Moves tab. Here there is not much verbiage, but there is something very important to say about how DecodeChess treats good moves. Imagine, for example, that for the next best move, there are two good moves, with a small centipawn difference between them. They're both good moves in human terms. So what we do is that if a move in the game was played, and it is still considered good, we will favor explaining it over another slightly better move that is available by the engine. In this way, there are bigger chances that whenever you analyze games, you'll get explanations for the relevant moves in the game. And this is super important and super fun, especially when you analyze master or tournament games, because you really want to understand why did that chess master play that move. So instead of us picking the best move in the game, we will pick his, given that it was played and it's good. Moving on to the Functionality tab, this is a great place for beginner players. Here DecodeChess maps the role of each piece on the board. And in fact, in some cases, you might even find some ideas hidden under one of the pieces. As you can see, for a single position, the system generates a lot of feedback. So that's why I would like to stress again that it's best to focus on 5 to 8 positions per game and make the most out of them, instead of looking at tens of positions and gaining less from each of them. That's it. Have a great day and enjoy decoding.